Hey everyone, I'm just hanging out on my balcony with my dog. Hey, there's Toby, my puppy. Um, so I'm just hanging out here and I was just thinking that, I made my video last time of what, I'd be bringing basically and talking about a little bit about Bicolline. Um, so it just kind of occurred to me that I think that I should make a video about what you could bring or what you should bring or, kind of what to expect when you go there. A lot of people are confused on the dynamics and, how do you get there? What do you do? What do you bring? What do you expect to go when you go there? So I've made a list of things that you will be able to bring or just, things like that. Sorry. So basically, my first is, well, first of all, how do you get there? So depending on where you are, obviously it's in Quebec, Canada. Depending on where you are, obviously there's many different ways to get there. There's planes, there's, you can drive, you can take the train, you can do whatever you need to do to get there. Carpool, whatever, if you can, if you're in Canada or the States, coming through. So there are travel packages that will take care of the entire trip for you. You just have to get to the can't remember which airport it is that they go to, but it's in Montreal, and they'll take care of. There's a shuttle bus that'll take you to the grounds of Bicolline and everything like that. Or if you're going yourself or with a group of friends and you're driving, you got to get there. So it'll when you go there also, how you get there will dictate how you're going to pack your luggage or what you're going to bring and how much you can bring, especially if you're taking a plane and there's weight restrictions and whatnot. If you're driving, it's really easy, and I highly recommend bring your stuff in Rubbermaid bins, because like I mentioned before in my other video, it does rain there, and they are great for keeping the rain out and keeping everything dry. And you might be tracking in whatever you're staying in. You might be tracking in debris from outside. There's bugs, spiders, things like that. So bins are the best. And if you are bringing luggage, again, it's whatever you have, but if you can bring the hard shell kind of plastic luggage, because again, depending on what what kind of accommodations you're staying in, it will dictate what kind of luggage you bring. So your luggage, so where are you going to stay when you go to Bicolline? There are different options. Again, there's the travel packages that you can go with where they will put you in a tent, they'll give you a cot, I think they give you sleeping bags and things like that. I could be wrong. I don't know the pricing or anything, but they deal with that. If you're traveling alone, you can sleep in a tent. So there's different areas that you can put your tent. On the grounds itself, there's, you can put decorum, which is basically medieval style tents. So think of like a canvas bell tent, or there's those kind of double or two-tone tents, like it's like they're striped, different colors, white and another color usually. Or if you can't afford those, which most of us can't, they're like upwards from $300, $400, $500, $600 to $1,000. You can get your own just a regular camping tent, and there is an area. You cannot put the camping tent on the actual grounds. There's an area called the non-decorum area where you can just bring your regular camping tent, and it's not seen by anybody, so it won't break immersion, and it's free. So all you're doing is you're paying the charge to get there for the week or whatnot, and the non-decorum camping is free. So you're not paying extra like daily for your spot. You set it up, whatever you need to do, set up your stuff. There's also cabins and buildings, but you kind of have to know people that know people to get those. They sell out very quickly. Bicolline also rents out their own tents there without a travel package. They're also very expensive. I don't know the pricing for those. So that's for cabins and buildings. Clothing, you need to, and I cannot stress this enough, bring enough socks. You see other videos saying bring socks, bring socks. No, honestly, bring socks. You're there for 7 days. Bring like 7 or 10 to 15 pairs of socks, because it gets wet, it rains, your feet sweat, they get dusty, dirty, things like that. Socks are very important. Tents, clothing. So obviously that would include underwear as well. Bring enough for 7 days. The clothing that you wear, so your normal clothing that you're wearing, you have to every time, or unless you're sitting in your tent like the whole time or whatever, which wouldn't be possible because there's so much fun things to do there. It has to be decorum. It has to be, so think of like Ren Fair, think of Lord of the Rings, think of any other kind of medieval movie that you might see, like the Boleyn movie, the Anne Boleyn movie. Think of that, and you're probably thinking, oh God, how am I going to afford those high-end, beautiful clothing pieces? I'll talk about that in a little bit. So basically for that, like I mentioned in the other video, I brought some things on Amazon. So for the ladies, you can Google plain, long solid color maxis. So they have short sleeves and long sleeve options. It will get hot, it will get cold, it will rain. So, you might get a couple dresses, the same kind of dress but different colors. In a short sleeve or long sleeve, depending on the weather. You might want to get a few of each. They're only about, I think, $35 each. For men, again, you can just Google medieval men's clothing on Amazon. It's the same thing. You'll get, the cotton kind of with the lace-up tops and things, or you can get like bard pants or pirate pants and things like that. Try not to make it look super cheap. Don't think dollar store. I mean, accessories maybe, but don't think dollar store. Another thing, so food, obviously, if you're camping in non-decorum, or you have the ability, if you're staying in somebody else's tent or building, you may be able to cook. In non-decorum, you can cook. It has to be a camp stove. They have fire pits there, but they're kind of along the road. I don't know. You could probably cook something on it, but I'm not 100% sure. I stayed in non-decorum the first year. And I didn't cook. So I mean, you can bring a camping stove. There is also food you can buy there. There's lots of vendors, so you'd have to bring lots of cash with you. Some vendors actually take debit or credit cards. They don't take American Express though, but they will take Visa and MasterCard. Footwear, shoes, boots, very, very important. Again, the rain, I cannot emphasize enough. I'm going to say this a lot of times, and you could keep a counter if you want. It does rain. It rains a lot. It's not just a pouring. It's like monsoon pouring. It's insane. I'm talking like inches of rain in a matter of like hours, literally inches. It gets muddy. It gets slippery. It gets wet. Slippery and wet. If you're staying in non-decorum, be careful. There's a hill that people go up and down. It gets very muddy, like crazy muddy and slippery going up and down that hill. So just be very careful. So you can buy food there. There's a lot of vendors, good food, really good food. There's also for clothing accessories like your pouch, like obviously medieval style belt pouch. You can also buy those on Amazon. You can buy those on basically any online shopping. They don't have to be leather. They have to look like leather, but I do recommend leather because you don't want anything to break and you don't want to lose your stuff if you have your wallet or keys or anything in your pockets, your pouch. So rainwear, going with the monsoon raisin. So you'll be wearing cloaks. So basically tie at the neck and hooded, and it's just long. Cloaks are very important. Do not buy, I'm going to absolutely recommend, do not buy a beautiful velvet cloak. I mean, you could wear that during the day or in the evening if it's not raining, but you will get absolutely drenched if it's raining out. You want to look at things more like a waxed canvas, wool. There's some vendors that sell really, really, really good cloaks there that are rainproof. If you are bringing armor, so armor, I'm not 100% sure, but you can bring armor, so the steel-plated armor, leather armor, whatever is your thing. Weapons, so swords and bows and things, again, you can bring those. The swords, obviously, they're not real, they're not metal, they have to be the latex foam kind, the LARPing kind. And if you're fighting in the battles, which they have at Bicolline, they have actual battles there. That's why it's called the Grand Bataille, the Great Battle. They have to be homologated before you get on the field, the battlefield. You cannot go fighting and just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring my LARPing sword or bow. The bows and the arrows also have to be homologated as well. They have to be checked by the people there and approved. If they are not, then you can't use them in the fights. Everything you bring, so clothing, socks, underwear, your cloak obviously is good for one day or for the whole week, has to be good enough for 7 days. So just think, 7 days you're going to be there. So some places that you can get some less expensive things. You can find some things on Etsy. Some of the vendors are, pretty reasonable, and some of them are really not reasonable. Well, I mean, most of them are handmade, so it goes without saying they are reasonable, but some of them can be very expensive. Amazon has some great options. Wish, believe it or not, if you look up, just type in medieval, they have some great options as well. They also have some options that are kind of cheap looking, but try and get some stuff that you think you can layer on or work with. Sorry, I dropped my book. And kind of work with. Also Temu has some really great options as well. Again, look up medieval women's clothing, men's clothing, kids clothing, medieval shoes, or just the word medieval. AliExpress, same thing, but with those, if you know about the timing, make sure you order those things with plenty of time to spare. Don't order them the week before you go because they're not going to come in time. The things that I thought of that you should probably spend the most amount of money on would be your cloak, to make sure it's a really good quality waterproof cloak or resistant. Your boots or shoes, make sure that they're really good quality, and they're really, really good. And belt, like to go over your clothing, to carry your belt pouch and whatnot, make sure that's good. And your belt pouch, make sure those are really good. That's just my opinion. I mean, you can have your own list of what you're going to spend your good money on. So going back to the list, obviously you're going to pack your toiletries and cash, especially if you're coming out of country and maybe your bank provider doesn't allow you to use your card or whatever outside of the country. I'm not really sure. So those are some things that are good for the Great Battle week at Bicolline. So when you get there, it depends how you get there, what to expect. A lot of people are confused. I was very confused my first year because I drive every year and go there, and I was very confused on the order of how things help or how things work. So you go there, you drive, you get to the area, you see a big car line, park behind the last car that's there. They'll be moving slowly because as you get in, you're going to park in, you're going to register at your, they have like booths there. You're going to register, then you're going to go to your area. If you don't know where your area is, they're very, very kind, and they will tell you how to get wherever you need to go unpack your things. And then your cars also ask where you're going to be parking if you're driving, where you're going to be parking, because they have different parking areas, and the parking is free, and they'll tell you where to go and how to get there and things like that, because you're not allowed to park your vehicle on the grounds of Bicolline. Obviously, it will break immersion. You don't want cars in an area where you're trying to live out a medieval experience, your medieval dream. So that's that. I'm trying to think what else I maybe missed. So also too, if you've forgotten anything, like you're in the midst of packing, you're getting all crazy, and you're like, oh, I'm going to Bicolline and whatever. Let's just say, for example, you forget your toothbrush. Well, they have a convenience store there where you could get small toiletries, toothbrushes, if you forgot shampoo or something, or you couldn't bring shampoo, soap. They even have little groceries there, like milk, like if you have a kid and they like to drink milk or whatever, fruit, all different types of things. Liquor, they have liquor there as well. It's basically a convenience store, and it's right near the auberge. If you don't know where that is, just ask somebody, how do I get to the auberge? And it's literally right across, I guess, the little street there that's like the little road. So they do have a store that has everything. If you forget clothing, they have lots of vendors. Of course, it's going to be pricey because it's all good quality stuff. They even have a cobbler there where they have shoes or boots. You can get really well-made leather like that will last you a lifetime boots there. They're expensive, but they're very, very, very beautiful. They also have weapons that you can buy there too, but just because you buy them there doesn't mean they're going to get passed through homologation, so you have to be careful with that too. What else did I miss? What else? So it's basically, like I said, I keep saying, it's a great time, it's a good time. Think of rain, prepare for rain. You could, and again, you can't wear raincoats. Oh, one thing I forgot, umbrellas. The kind of umbrella you're going to want to bring is like a dated kind of parasol kind of umbrella. Like it almost looks like, you know, those, you'd get a fancy drink and you get a little umbrella in it. Think of like that kind of umbrella, but wax it. Make sure it has wax on it because, again, it'll just leak through. Don't bring a normal umbrella. And that's pretty much it. So I think I've basically covered it. If I've missed anything, if you're watching and you've been to Bicolline and I've missed anything, leave a comment below and let me know, and let the other people know that are watching too. Yeah, that's basically it, and I will see you guys there.